Alright guys, so now we'll be checking out MD LMLD. Now we'll be checking Bama Boy's VOD submission. Yeah, so right now we'll just be checking it out, see what feedback we can give, any like meaningful thing we can say to help him improve his play and get better at the game. So yeah, let's get right into it. By the way, yeah, guys, this is my first time. Like, all these videos, for the most part, on all these videos, unless I say you'll be getting my first reaction. I'll be watching them like for the first time. So like whatever reaction I get, whatever things I say, it's like that's what that's the genuine impression I'm getting at the moment. I'm watching what's happening. So it's something to say. Again, like I don't know for sure, but I think I heard somebody down there with his friend, right? And he had a gun. So at this point, again, I'm not sure, right? But I think I heard an enemy down there with his friend. I could be wrong, but if there was an enemy down there with his friend, he had the perfect position to shoot that guy in the back and potentially save his friend. So. Alright, so a big thing you will see with more experienced players versus more new players is and this is a huge one. This is like if I was if I was teaching players from scratch, which is probably something I'll do at some point in time. Um, Probably one of the biggest things that you can notice about more experienced players is their weapon usage. They kind of instinctually know which weapons are the good ones, so to speak, right? Him using the Spitfire here with that while he has the alternator is a bad decision because the alternator um in mid close range fights like this is a better weapon choice than the Spitfire, right? The Spitfire's hip fire is atrocious sometimes, and the alternator just does a ton more damage in more mid range fights like that. The fire rate is faster. The recoil control is probably a little bit better as well. So again, it's like it's instinctual. You always want to go for tier one guns, where you kind of want to have an idea of which guns are better than which also, right? And something to comment on here as well. Is this push here wasn't strictly speaking necessary, right? Like the guy is somewhere here, right? Like with his friend, right? He's free. He and the friend is probably in a fight. So right now where you are, you have a pretty good angle on this guy whenever he decides to peek. Whenever he decides to show himself, right? But you choosing to make the very very long run here, it's not a terrible move. It's not like the worst thing in the world. But the guy could have just, if it was, for example, the guy decided to ignore your friend and close the door or something like that, he could have just like gunned you down while you were running at him like that. So just something to note here. You can play the angles a lot more without getting really up close and personal with people, right? You know the guy is here, right? You can stay right here behind these boxes, or outside here and shoot at the guy, like whichever way he decides to go, right? So you, strictly speaking, don't have to get all involved in this, especially since you don't have any shields, right? Like having no shields in this game is like asking to be dead, right? So right now especially you don't have a tier one gun, you don't have any shields. You want to be playing kind of as to the chest as you can, right? So whenever you see those opportunities for easy kills, like kills that you can get without risking your life necessarily, you want to be taking those. And right here, you didn't really have to risk your life. I think you have I think you have another gun here while you're trying to reload this thing. Actually, like you have the alternator here while in slot one actually while you're kind of messing around to reload this thing. So yeah, this was noob central to be honest. Again, something to comment on right here. I don't think he knew exactly where this other teammate was, but he knew for because he could hear the sound that that other teammate was behind him in some regard. So to go for the finish there while you knew that the other teammate was somewhere close, um, while your back is turned to him, is probably not like the best thing you could have done. Actually, that gets you killed a lot. So again, something to think about. By the way, just to make it like obscenely obvious, because in these days I'm gonna be trying to tell you the thing that is like the most jarring, impactful thing in my opinion as to like what you're doing wrong. So I'll see 10 things and I'll say 10 things, but I'll try and emphasize the ones that are most important. And the one that is most important to me now is the fact that you're not using the weapons at the appropriate um, distances that they're for. You're not using the weapons for the appropriate situations that you're for. You have an alternator here. It does better damage in these mid to close range fights than the Spitfire, right? So the biggest thing that I see you're doing now is you're relying on this thing when you have this other gun that's a lot better than it for these types of situations. That will get you killed most of the times, right? It's probably the number one reason why noobs die in this game. I mean, all right. So right now, instinctually, he should have been like, "Oh shit, let me back out." Why? Because he has blue shield. Is his? I think his shield's gone. Right. I think. Like, let's see. Okay, so he got here with like full shield. So not that terrible, but still, right? Like the weapon combination for the type of engagement that you're in is not the best. Like you have a Spitfire, any almost any other weapon this guy has short of a P250, like you probably lose this fight. Like he has an alternator, you're dead. He has a R99, you're dead. He has a R301, you're dead. Right? Like probably wingman, you're dead. A lot of guns kill you at this range if you're using the Spitfire, right? Like you need to know what weapons are best in what situations here. So right now, my mind is I have this gun that I know is not the best for this situation, right? And I just got into this position where this guy I wasn't necessarily expecting engaged me. I shoot at him, so I see he has purple armor, right? So I know he has that added advantage of having better armor than me, in addition to me not having a good weapon for this type of fight. So that's like a two-stack disadvantage right there. I'm immediately out in this fight. I mean, like the moment I see that he has ice train on me and he has purple armor and I have blue, I'm out. So his Q kind of saves him there, because he was getting melted, like we said. But let's keep going. Yeah, and yeah, yeah. You just lose this fight. You need to know as a player like which weapons are good for which situations. You need to have a relative understanding of that, because that is the biggest factor that comes that is the determinant in these games, like which weapon the enemy is using in what situation, right? This guy here looks like he had an R99, so you absolutely get melted, right? No chance whatsoever. Like you should have been out the moment you kind of saw that, like this like again where the knowledge comes in, right? The moment I see I have a Spitfire, not the right situation for this gun. He has purpose. I'm out, right? So I wouldn't have traded so much damage with the guy already for him to be actively seeking to chase me out. But you even take it a step further and you kind of stop there. Not that I feel like you had a lot of places to run. Maybe you could have like juked the guy in some way by like queuing and then like doing some fancy shit, but you pretty much guaranteed your own death here by stopping in a way. So yeah. Our friend has rip. By the way, I can see it's like a not totally new players, but like not like advanced level players, so I can tell. But snap, this guy's coding for his life. Alright, let's hope that he gets away and kind of skip ahead. Alright, so we get, let's see, where do we get raised actually? Yeah, so the race comes over, so we do get raised.
We need to run fast.
Alright, alternative for flatline. Not a terrible trade. Not the greatest trade in the world, but not like a terrible trade or anything. I'm gonna be making sure to like pinpoint exactly those weapon choices as well, because I do feel like that's the greatest point of improvement for this player. Just realizing that the weapons do play like probably the hugest factor in these fights. So I'm gonna be like highlighting those a lot. That's why I came back to like see what weapon choices he was making. Let's try to skip ahead to the crucial moments. Alright, so the aggressive push with the port, not the worst thing you could do here. So in case you get lasered, you always have that kind of ult. So not the worst thing to do here. Good move. Wait, isn't there like one guy left, or did they kill everybody? Is there like one guy left? I think they got everybody. So I'm gonna take a second to like highlight this, because this is one of those things where if you're an experienced player, like if you compare an experienced players to like less experienced players, it's one of those things where you just don't see how this possibly happens. But it seems sometimes inexperienced players get themselves in these situations that experienced players just would not, and it's as a result of these macro choices that they make without really realizing it. But speed, right? They like right now, and I know he can't necessarily like control like his teammates or anything, but right now in my head I'm thinking they've been in this spot for too long, right? Like you need to just take what you can and move on. Like you need to move. Like speed in this game is such a big thing, right? Like speed in this game controls like how many, for the biggest thing speed controls in this game, forget all the other advantages that it has. Probably the biggest thing that speed controls in this game, and even in ranked I see people forget this like all the time. It controls the amount to which you get third partied versus the amount to which you are third partying, right? And that's a huge macro in this game, right? If you stay in this position for too long, and let's say some other people heard this commotion happening, and you happen to get like rushed down here, you're at a complete disadvantage, because their guns are trained on you, and it's like you're probably not full heal, or you're distracted like healing, or you're distracted like taking loot, or just being in a more relaxed state because you've just been off that adrenaline, right? Versus, so right now you guys should have been gone already, right? But you need to, speed in this game is such a huge thing. It is probably one of the biggest factors to just like completely steamroll games, right? The faster you play, the more the game plays in your advantage. The game plays to your advantage. Dude, why does Watson still have white shields? Pretty sure this Watson should have like better shields right now. By the way, I like love commenting on players like this. It's clear with players like this that they play the game, they enjoy the game, right? And they're making like efforts to progress in the game, just like certain moves that I see him make, like how he uses the port and how he tries to get height advantage and stuff like that. You can tell that he's actively trying to progress in the game and it's coming along. But it's just like certain little things that you really can say that would be like a aha moment to the player that really just skyrockets their growth. So yeah, good on you for like actually going about and playing the game more and like progressing along those lines.
Let's explore this way. Heads up. I'm cheerleader. This place has seen activity. Syringe here. Good, we're inside.
Let's try and get to the fights.
Cancel that. Recharging my shield.
Alright, so I'm gonna stop the comment here because I it's a thing I see repeated in less sweaty players. Um, always have a plan. Like the moment you encounter an enemy team, have a plan. It doesn't have to be an aggressive plan, but it should be a plan. Like you should always keep moving forward, mentally and physically in the game, right? The more time you spend messing around is the more chances for you to get third party to die to like unforeseen circumstances. Like you always want to be having a plan in this game. So again, sometimes the plan is, hey, this fight is not a good fight, we can't like challenge this fight from this distance, let's leave. Or sometimes our plan is, hey, let's run up on these guys, let's steamroll these guys, right? But it's always have a plan, always never be at the kind of like the mercy of the game where you're kind of just ebbs and flowing of the game. Like that is a formula for death on third parties, right? Always have a plan with the game. Now I see this Watson got that. This is like what you want to avoid, right? Like this Watson kind of like probably didn't have a plan and probably just got like pulled up on her or something. But you kind of want to be at the cause, at the cause of things in the game and not at the effect. You don't want to be responding to one of your teammates dying, essentially, right? You want to be the cause of somebody else's teammate dying, or you want to be the cause of your team pushing, or you want to be the cause of your team repositioning or something like that. Always have a plan, right? Like it's so, even if it's a bad plan, right, it will get you used to that that motion of like, hey, what am I going to be doing now? What is happening now? Because you do have to be the directive. It's either you're the director or the directed in this game. You never want to be the directed. Ultimately, the circle is the great director, but you within the confines of that, you always want to be moving forward mentally, having a plan for you and your team. Yeah. So it's like try to avoid just not knowing what to do. Even if it's a terrible plan, do it still, right? It will get you into that frame of mind of moving the game forward, moving you and your team forward. Because the worst thing you and your team could do is be stagnant in a shootout for 10 minutes and then get third party. another thing I'm gonna say, it's probably not gonna sound like the nicest thing in the world too, but I do remember it as one thing. Um, from when I wasn't necessarily like the best at canceling out macro disadvantages for my team and just like playing around my team in a way is you need to kind of be cognizant of like how skilled the other players on your team are so that you can know what you can expect from them, right? This Watson look like he's hellbound and get like from the moment I saw that Watson not fully healed within a couple seconds and still with white shields, I knew he probably was a very new player. Nothing wrong with that. He's just less experienced than you, right? So you kind of have to be cognizant of that fact. But within that, you have to be aware of, hey, this player is probably gonna do dumb shit to get us killed. So how am I going to play around that? How am I going to counter that? Am I going to use him as bait? Sounds bad, but sometimes that's what you gotta do. You just have to be cognizant of the fact that you can't be playing to the ebbs and flows of this Watson because he's a less experienced player than you, and so like following his movements will get you killed, right? So that's just something mental to keep in mind. This Watson is in a terrible spot right now. Like, I can't see his POV, but where he is, like, he's like in full, should be in like full view of the enemies. Like, he's in the perfect position to get rushed down without the team being able to do too much. Like, you can peek this angle to try and like save him, but you won't even know if he's getting rushed down. Because so this Watson is in a terrible position to be honest, right? So yeah, just something to be cognizant of when you're playing with others. But you don't want to be doing this, right? Like, um, again, it's that frame of mind. You want to. I don't want to say pretend like you're the best player in the world, but you want to play the game like with confidence and with like the idea that you're gonna win. Right here, you have zero reason to be healing for the situation that you're in. Right now, you guys kind of have them on the run. They're clearly like running away. They're scared. They're like you missed one guy up. He's like 10 bullets. He has to, at the very least, he has to heal, which means he can't help his friends. You guys are kind of you guys are in the motion of going to kill them, and you stop like here, forget all that dude, but you stop right here wide out in the open to like use a cell, right? Like anybody can just like peek from somewhere. Like this guy right here, all he has to do is like turn around or do whatever peek he was doing to like laser you while you're healing. You didn't really have a reason to heal because you have kind of sufficient health. In this game, guys, gets kind of high level now, but you can, and I see players, even very advanced players, there's a lot where they heal too much. Pretty much, but you need to understand something in this game. The time to kill is so fast in this game, more or less, that if you're playing properly, a fair amount of the times you'll be doing full 100 damage, a full damage to a guy, 200 damage to a guy, while he's not doing very any damage to you or very very little damage, right? The time to kill in this game is very very fast. It's never like you're trading full HP damage back and forth between one guy to end one fight, right? So really and truly, you don't have to heal that much in this game, which is something I see even like very advanced players do. I fall into it sometimes when I'm not in the zone, or I haven't played for a long time. But pretty much, unless your shields are down fully 100%, you really don't need to heal that much. He it's kind of a mental thing too, because like a lot of players just when they see that they're hitting flesh, that's when they tend to be more aggressive towards you. So if they don't see them hitting flesh, they kind of assume you're like full shields or something. But you really don't have to heal that much, and you especially don't want to be healing out in the open like this. This is very 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 bad. Like this should have gotten you lasered right here.
Track nearby. Need to recharge my shields.
Again, like you guys had this fight, right? You guys almost 100% had this fight. You just had to be a little bit more aggressive. They were on the run. They had their backs turned to you, right? Like all you guys had to do was keep pushing along, and you would have gotten this fight. This fight would have been in the bag for you guys. Instead, what's likely to happen now is these guys are likely to be annoyance to you for the rest of the game because it seems like the circle is converging in a way where they could be to your back while you're having to fight somebody else. So again, this is like another one of those macro things where you look at it and you're like, how do experiencers don't not even find themselves in these positions, right? It's because they don't make these types of mistakes, like letting a team that you should obviously kill get away. Hmm. Yeah, it's a bad spot now because there are like three teams left, and this team is to your back. Yeah, this is a terrible position to be in, but so I ideally should have killed those guys from before, and that's why you end up in this like bad spot right here. But I don't know. Let's see how it goes. Oh man, this Watson Gene is in a terrible spot. Well, I mean, they're in a terrible spot. Let's see how it goes. I will bet money this Watson is the first person to die on this team. Remember that Mirage was in no time dying. Yeah, you're in like the most clearest way ever. You are fucked. Like your whole team is like in a sandwich position because you didn't finish that fight you guys had before. Again, the biggest problem I see here, even I see you're using the R99 Mastiff, so I was gonna say like I was gonna say the weapons thing. It's still a big thing, but even more so now that I've kind of seen the game play out more, I'll say 100%. The number one thing that is your problem right now is you are accepting the ebbs and flows of the game, being at the effect of things in the game as opposed to being the results. Be more aggressive, be more confident in your play, like lead the team more if you have to, right? Be more, have a plan always, even if it's a bad plan, just do it, right? Like the team who wins these games is the team with a plan, right? So yeah, stop wasting time, stop dilly-dallying around. It's basically just kind of hovering around for the game to happen around you, right? Always have a plan, always be moving forward, either physically or mentally.
There's another squad attacking.
That's a good boy, you see. So manages to save himself, unable to save the team. Obviously, only two teams left, and it's like last team. But so he excellent power usage manages to get out of that really bad sandwich situation. Right now, what he needs to do that they're fighting each other, he needs to just play the ninja. He needs to just throw some nades if he has some, but for the most part, stay out on the outskirts or out of this fight totally until it's like the perfect opportunity when everybody's low and he can play the third party right here. So he needs to just stay out of this totally until they kind of wear each other down. Why are you playing for your team here? Like this team's hella dead. Is there a res beacon somewhere about the place? No, it's like fourth circle's coming in here, so it's probably gonna get closer here. um yeah, they're dead. Like you should have just left them to die. There are three teams left. This fight is over essentially. You maybe there's a res beacon somewhere about the place, you could have gotten them on a run, but with the whole two teams left, they're fighting each other. You want to take advantage of this third party. Forget the team, they're dead. right now you put yourself in a bad situation where you're a solo and now this other team is trained on you and this guy has like gold shield, so you're hella screwed. Yeah, not an awful game. Again, like the main thing I see is again be familiar with those weapon uses in particular situations, and be more. Again, it's one of those things where it's hard to say do that unless you have the experience of doing that, because it does, the confidence in itself does come from experience. Um, be more as you are doing some good stuff, really good power usage. Fundamentals not terrible, right? But yeah, be more. Again, your whole team took a macro L there the moment you didn't kill those guys that you were fighting with. Like your team, you should have never been in this position in the first place, right? Be more confident in your ability to kill people and like get kills, but obviously know when it's not in your favor. So the biggest recommendation here is be more at the cause of things as opposed to the effect of things, right? Be more assertive, be more um, confident to make plays. It doesn't have to be the right play. Just make a play. Over time, you learn what's a good play and what's a bad play. You learn what's a good play for yourself, and you learn what's a good play for your team. So yeah, I'll leave you some more in the maybe in the Discord. You can you can ask me questions in the comments. You can ask me questions in Discord as well, guys. Leave a comment, leave a like if you like more videos like these, if you want to see more videos like these, and yeah, I'll talk to you in the next one.